bullish or bearish. Whether you're a rookie trader or a rock star, we believe there's room for everyone. Every Filipino can learn how to trade. We're just your average Joe. But together, let's take advantage of the greatest equalizer of wealth ever, the stock market, where millions can be made and lost in a click of a finger. The journey to trading mastery is a lifetime, and we're here to stay. We are ZFT. Welcome to our podcast. And this is where the hot money is.
Binance is the world's leading cryptocurrency exchange, but we aspire to much more. Our vision is of a world where your money is free. That means freedom of choice, exchange, and transaction. That's why, with the Binance Decentralized Exchange, fiat on-ramps around the globe, and an entire blockchain ecosystem fueled by Binance Chain, we're working to bring the freedom of money to anyone, anywhere. Binance. Exchange the world.
Hello, good evening everyone. Hello, Luis. How are you?
Hello, Heidi. Kamusta? Kamusta kayo dyan? Hello sa mga
Okay.
viewers natin.
Kamusta guys? Wait, before pala tayo mag-start, why don't we introduce ourselves first, Luis? Game
Yes.
ka ba doon? Sige. So guys, I'm Heidi, by the way, and this is...
And I'm Luis. We're from TR
Yes, we're
Entertainment.
actually, we are from TR Entertainment team, and it's actually a subgroup within Trading Republic community. And
Yes.
it's very nice to see all of you guys tonight. And thank you very much for spending your Tuesday night with us. And
Yes.
if there are listeners here that are outside the Philippines, good morning and good afternoon.
And good evening.
Good evening sa mga taga-Pilipinas.
Yes.
Kamusta, Boss Luis? How's your day? Kamusta
Yeah,
yung ganap kaninang umaga sa'yo?
may morning, puro biyahe ako kanina. So, hindi naman sobrang pagod. Parang most of my afternoon is parang I spend time preparing dito sa ating session for tonight. How about you? Kamusta?
Okay, before I answer that question, let's ask the audience muna. Kamusta kayo guys? Pa-type naman sa ating chat box or yung comment box natin kung kamusta kayo.
Yes.
But for me naman, medyo busy in the past few days and the coming weeks, Boss Luis. Medyo may mga konting stuff na nangyayari all at the same time. Pero super excited ako tonight sa session na to. Kasi
Yes.
parang jam-packed yung ating episode tonight. Would you agree, Boss Luis?
Yes, I agree on that. And parang bigyan ko na agad ng parang ano ba to? Ano ang ating viewers kasi
Sige.
baka tayo ay mag-overtime.
Yes!
This is surely.
Kumbaga, you're giving them a heads up na sa sobrang jam-packed nitong session na to, it may chance na mag-overtime tayo. And hopefully, that's okay for everyone na mag-overtime, guys. And by the way, this is our first TR Radio Talks event for the year, the year 2023. Kaya, this is very special, diba? Very special and super exciting. And hopefully naman din, sa topic natin tonight, people will be able to learn from it and people will be able to parang get something out of it that will help them for the rest of their trading journey for the year. Diba?
Correct.
So speaking of trading journey, kamusta ang inyong trades recently, Boss Luis? Ramdam mo ba na parang ang sasaya ng mga tao recently. Tsaka ang ingay sa Discord natin, di ba? Medyo excited yung mga tao. And I feel like the audience who are here at the moment are also excited sa mga positions nila.
Yes, very
Maybe.
excited. Oo. Actually,
Oo.
ako makakapagpatunay dyan.
Oh.
Well, nakailang trades lang naman ako in the past weeks, but
Oo.
I could feel na, this is it.
Talaga ba?
Yes.
I love the confidence.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
it. This is really is it. Okay, sige,
Is it?
sige, go.
Diba?
Okay,
So,
okay.
how about you? Kamusta yung mga trades mo recently?
Masaya rin. Masaya rin. Kaya lang, syempre, we still need to kind of, monitor and check every day. Syempre, you'll never react, diba, sa mga nangyayari.
Yes.
Ikaw ba, Boss Luis, meron kang gustong itanong sa audience natin?
Yes. How about you guys? Who amongst you believe that the bull market is right around the corner? So, yan. Can we see your comments there?
Kaya tayo? Mag-shoutout muna tayo sa mga nandito at the moment.
Yes.
Si Boss Joey pala is here watching from Dubai. Hello, Boss Joey.
Hello. Boss Joey.
Boss Marvin J. Valencia, check. Boss Alex is here as well. Hello, check. Good evening from the Philippines, Boss Jomar. And Boss Charvel, check. And si Boss Herbert Esguerra is here as well, joining us.
And si Boss Paul De Luna.
Yon! I believe in you. I love it. Hello sa mga nandito tonight. Thank you so much for being here. So, tinanong kayo ni Boss Luis kung tingin nyo ba bull market na ba ang ating ang state of the markets?
Yes.
Presently? Is that something that we are all experiencing at the moment? Ako to be honest, kasi I still consider myself as a newbie in trading. Bago-bago lang tayo, Luis, medyo bago-bago.
Yeah.
And I haven't really experienced a bull market. Ako, hindi ko pa talaga na-experience ang bull market. Kasi nga, bear market baby ako.
Yes.
That's why, Luis, we are very keen to listen sa mga advices, sa mga tips, sa mga kwentos ng mga guests natin.
Yes.
Pero, like what we said and like what I said earlier, feeling ko medyo easier yung mga trades recently. Would you agree?
I agree.
Setups are showing, market is a bit forgiving, tumutuloy yung mga biases, yung mga sentiments. And whether we're on our way to bull market or whether we're there now, or patikim pa lang yun, or may retracement na mangyayari. That, ako to be honest, I'm not completely sure. But we'll get information tonight from our guests. Diba?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so ano mga sabi ng mga tao? Meron ba sumagot kung bull market na ba? Parang wala.
Wala pa.
Wow, naka-on ka.
Ayan. Shout out kay Boss Bex.
Shout out sa aming OG AG na si Boss Bex. All the way from TFR pa yan, diba? Boss Luis.
Yes.
Okay, sige. So, ako naman na magtatanong if it's okay. If you guys feel that bull market is around the corner, are we or are you prepared for the opportunities that will come with the bull market? Prepared ba tayo financially? Prepared ba tayo emotionally, mentally? Kaya na ba natin mag-scale in, scale out right away? I don't know, ikaw, Boss Luis, ano tingin mo sa mga questions na yan?
Before I answer that questions, make sure na you guys also answer those questions and later on mababasa natin yan, and also magkakaroon tayo ng discussion with our guests tonight. Ayun, to answer that, siguro to be in the state of being prepared, kailangan mo sigurong yung tuloy-tuloy ka nag-aaral even though it's bear market pa lang, kasi nga we don't know kung kailan talaga si bull market. Kumbaga, last 2 months or last mga months, talagang medyo sobrang dry and sobrang parang kala mo nagluluksa yung mga tao. But yeah, just continue on studying as in TR, inside TR. Continue lang kami sa pag-attend ng FGDs and backtesting with our AG mates. And also yun, marami pang webinars na kino-consume for us just to be ready. And alam mo yun, yung iba-iba man tayo ng method and approach on how to be prepared, but technically meron naman tayong common ground.
True. Ganda.
Kumbaga, it's a good combination of parang when preparation meets opportunity.
Yun! Sino nagsabi nun? Si Boss Luis. Diba? Quote? Sige. So, may ano ka ba? May isa ka pang question for
yes. And in line with that, paano nga ba natin madedefine or what is bull market? Diba? And according to Investopedia, it defines that it is a condition of financial market in which prices are rising or expected na tumaas. And yung term na bull market is madalas nagagamit sa or madalas nare-refer sa stock market or currencies, coins, and other commodities. And also yung bull markets tend to last 4 months or hopefully even years.
Kinikilig din tayo doon. Uy, thank you for that definition. Thank you din Google for that, definition.
Thank you Investopedia.
But guys, I guess we just want to give everyone a heads up as well that we're not going to touch much the technicals tonight. Siguro depende rin sa guests natin if they're going to mention technicals kasi we know that with technicals, na pag-aaralan yan, it's a black and white thing. Inside Trading Republic, which we are part of, it's a trading community where we actually have FGDs, discussions, webinars, and all those. We talk about the technicals there. But I guess it's also good to be focusing our topic tonight on the intangibles, di ba, Boss Luis? Parang,
I agree.
Kasi yun yung mas mahirap na part, yung psychology, yung other stuff outside technicals na hindi agad na ma-master, di ba?
Yeah.
And it's also good to look at it from a holistic point of view then. Would you agree? Parang mas magandang i-base yung discussion around that concept. Parang ganon.
Yes, kasi it's something within us within the trader itself.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. True. So with that, ready na ba tayo i-introduce ang ating mga guests tonight?
Excited na ba kayo, guys?
Excited na ba?
Excited.
Oo.
Please type in excited.
Yun. Sige, pa-type daw ng word excited if you guys are ready for us to introduce our guests tonight. Parang delayed ata yung aking comment section.
Baka sobrang excited sila. So,
sige. Ayun! Sabi ni Boss Rex, excited. Thank you, Boss Rex. Thank you, Boss Joey. Excited, sabi ni Boss Darwin. I love it. Excited. Ganun ang pagkasabi niya. G, sabi ni Boss Shek. Hello, Boss Shek. Boss namin yan sa TR Entertainment. Okay, sige. Would you like to introduce our first guest, Boss Luis?
Yes, I would like to introduce Boss James, one of our trading leaders inside TR. Ayan. And how about you, Heidi?
Good evening, Boss James. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening.
Thank you for saying yes to our invitation. Super excited ay lahat tayo marinig ang inyong mga advices for us tonight.
Yes, excited na.
Yes. Okay, sige. So move tayo to our next guest. Sige. Our next guest, he doesn't really need an introduction pero he's also a senior mentor inside TR. And we all know that he is the founder and creator of the ZFT system and the Trading Republic community. Siya yung ating OG trading leader, no? Boss Luis. So, let's all welcome none other than boss naming lahat, si Mr. George Acebal, also known as the man himself, Z Freaks. Good evening, Boss Z.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Happy to be here and
Thank
excited.
you. Yes, thank you for being here, guys. Super short notice.
Thank you talaga mga boss.
We are very grateful for both of you to be here with us tonight.
Yes. And sige, wag na natin patagalin to para mas sobrang sulit ang oras natin and oras ng mga viewers natin yan. And for sure, super jam-pack ng ating magiging discussions ngayon from our trading leaders and from Boss Z. And sige, let's start with our first questions. Ready na ba kayo mga boss? Boss Z and Boss J.
Let's go.
Let's go. Sige. Actually, may tatanong sana ako pero straight na lang tayo sa pinakang question natin. Ayan. Let's start with our first question.
Okay.
Are we now approaching the bull market? Why do you think so? Sige, Boss James, ikaw na muna.
Well, if you've been monitoring the market recently, medyo parang eye-catching, newsworthy. There's a lot of movement. But to say that we are in a bull market is quite grand. Siguro pa lang, yung nga sabi ni Heidi kanina, parang patikim siguro sa market. We do expect a lot of retracements or probably consolidations, hindi man retracement, no? But on the side of bull market, siguro we still need to wait a bit. But the market right now is looking good. Yun lang yung masasabi ko. There's a lot of volume happening, a lot of supports that were established that could be the support levels, and then there's a long way down, but also there's a long way up. So to say it's a bull market, there's still a lot of resistance level. So siguro, let's just enjoy the ride, react on how the market moves in the coming months and in the coming years. Yeah.
Nice. I love that answer. Boss Z, your turn.
I actually super like yung sagot ni James kasi parang that's a sign of a very mature trader. And I would agree with James' views as well. Yes, there's excitement in the air. You can see it, you can feel it, especially if you got in, at the start of the year, the first week, especially in crypto. In crypto kasi right now, like, people are so happy na parang, alam mo yun, parang 50% yung inakyat, or like, if you got into Solana, then that's already triple. If you got into other crypto, like, you probably would be up already 400-500%. And so you can already see the current outliers. But again, there's that you gotta temper down. Like, patikim pa lang to. Patikim, no? 50%, 100%. Yes, patikim pa lang to, guys. And the bull market is not yet confirmed. All right? So let's be clear on that. There are still a lot of resistances to be broken, and there has to be a consolidation, because without consolidating those gains, we cannot sustain this kind of run. So while everybody's excited, like I am excited, because being in the markets for more than a decade, it just feels like, that feeling na, eto na, nagtatanim na tayo, malapit na yung harvest.
Yes.
But the harvest isn't like, there's this quote that was saying, that I saw, right? Na parang the day you plant the seed isn't the day that you harvest the fruit or you eat the fruit. So it's kind of like that when it comes to the markets. I want you to see the markets right now. Like I always say it, na the market moves in cycles. And you see a lot of people sobrang nagluluksa sila for what? For 1 year, 2 years? Probably kung nasa PSE ka, parang 3 years ka nang nagluksa, di ba? But it's like, finally, guys, there's something happening, and it's kind of like, this is the bottoming out phase. The sideways is about to like finish, hopefully, once we see those breakout levels. But we're not yet out of the woods, but like I can feel it in my gut. 2023, 2024, or probably beyond, it's gonna be a harvest year.
Sorry, boss. Natatawa ko kasi for someone who's in the market for more than a decade, and you said you can feel it in your gut. Tapos ako, wala pa akong 2 years. I can also feel it in my gut. I don't know what's in me, why I also feel that way. Pero actually, those answers from Boss James and from Boss Z, they're really good answers, ha. And question number 1 pa lang yan, medyo mind-blowing na yung mga answers nila. Pero if you really think, sige, go, Boss Z. Go.
Gusto ko lang sabihin, well, Heidi, you're in TR. That's why
Yeah.
there are things that you learn. It's kind of like this. There are things that you learn when you read things. There are things that you catch. There are things that's being caught when you're with people who are already seasoned traders.
Yeah.
And in TR, you're surrounded with a lot of seasoned traders. And so kind of like that learning curve, hindi ka na ganun ka nawawala, especially like if you're a solo trader, parang you have to figure things out. You have to develop that gut feel. But like if you're surrounded with people who knows that, this is it, like I can feel it, right? Even if hindi pa siya lumalabas, kasi ganun ganun yung specialists. Like if you're a specialist as a doctor, like I'm not a doctor, but if you're a specialist something, before anyone else can see it, nakikita mo na parang, ito yung problema.
Yeah. Ang ganda. Kasi, in relation to what you said, if you really think about it, you can actually read a lot of things from online. You can actually learn from, let's say, mga trading gurus everywhere on the internet, diba? And you can listen to them whether approaching na ba talaga si bull market. Pero hirap kasi, even if they say yes, ikaw as a trader, what are you gonna do next? Diba? I mean, how are you going to approach the market? Kahit na sabihin mo, sige, bull market. And so, what's next? And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is, go back to basics. That's where we study, diba? That's where we build our edge. That's how you really find out kung talagang may bull market na ba or paparating na. So parang like you said, boss, if experienced ka na, similarly, since you already have built your system or your edge, then malalaman mo yung when to engage, when to scale in, when to scale out, and then mo malalaman kung saan na si bull market. Parang gano'n, na ano ko lang siya, na pagko-connect ko lang siya sa mga answers that you get.
Yeah, in relation siguro to add lang din, in relation to what Boss Z said, kasi nga he's a seasoned trader, and I can't help but think about this quote with Warren Buffett. Kasi before, a few months back, like just December, parang all the news were saying this is the end of the crypto markets. Yeah. I've been dealing with the fundamentals, and I look at the news and what they're saying. This is the end of the crypto market. There's a lot of FUD happening in the markets, and then that's when it actually started. The move, when everyone was so fearful, it was actually the time that you need to be greedy. That saying by Warren Buffett, that when others are fearful, you need to be greedy, or when others are greedy, you become fearful, because that's the time you sell. That's why during times of strong downtrends, that is actually when it's most discounted, and then when the price goes up parabolically and everyone's saying to the moon it's gonna go to 100K, it's actually the time that you sell. So with that kind of framework when it comes to investing or trading as well, keeping in mind how people are reacting to the current market gives you in a way good idea of where we are currently in the market. If there's too much emotion on the downside, then that might be too discounted already. You can already buy. If it's already too excited, too greedy already, then it's probably time to sell, right?
Ganda. I like that answer. Thank you very much, Boss James. Sabi ni Boss Paul sa chat, okay na kami sa TR. Yes. Ganda ng tagline na yun, Boss Paul. Diba, Boss Luis? By the way, diba, we can actually entertain questions. If you guys have any questions at all, please type them sa chat natin. And then we will ask our guests if they can answer the questions as we go along. Sige. So let us proceed to the next question naman. So with trading, we all know that there are emotions involved, right? Regardless, of whichever state we are in. Hindi yun mawawala, especially sa mga baguhan like me. But specifically with bull market, how can you control greed? And how do you filter out FOMO or fear of missing out? So in short, parang how do you and what do you do to keep your emotions in check?
Okay, here's a very practical way for you to be able to deal with that. Diversify. So I want you to just put yourself, like imagine you're 100% cash. You're a trader, you're a trend follower, you could be a momentum trader, or kung anong klaseng trader, position trader or what. Now, for some reason, you used 50% of your whole capital, your whole budget for investing into one stock or one coin. Umakyat siya. Good. Nag-correct. Now, during that correction time, you see other coins na nagsiliparan and we're in a bull market. How would you feel? Now, you'd usually feel, ay, bakit hindi ako nakabili ng ganun? Bakit hindi lang ako sa isang stock na to? Right? Or dito sa coin na to? Bakit, for example, nakasakay ako sa Bitcoin? Yes, nahuli ko yung bottom ng Bitcoin. Pero bakit hindi ko na kita yung, let's say, SHIB? Or bakit hindi ako nakasakay dun sa Solana? Dapat, like, if nasakay ako dun sa Solana, probably I'm already triple already yung inakyat ng portfolio ko, pero nandito ako sa Bitcoin. So what happens there is, it's not just FOMO that you're gonna be feeling. You're gonna feel like, sana nag-all-in na lang ako dun sa Solana, hindi lang ako sa bagal ng hawak ko. But you know what the thing is? You actually gained in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? And it's kind of like, because of that comparison, you have that kind of mindset na, aling sinasabi nila na, comparison is the thief of joy. And so, these are life principles that you can actually apply in trading. And so, I always say that trading can be is a very practical thing, or is very reflective of how you view life. And so, if there are things that you haven't settled with in real life, probably pwede mo siyang madala sa trading. And so there's this one person, I'm not gonna mention his name. I haven't replied to him. Then he was talking about like having problems with his trading, and like what can he do kasi sobrang undisciplined niya. He knows that he is undisciplined with trading. He understands this. And I told him, you know that probably the reason why you're undisciplined in trading is because you most likely have something in your life, in your real life, that you're undisciplined with. What are those? And so, parang napaisip siya eh. Hindi ko pa na-replyan yung sagot niya. Pabasa, medyo mahaba yun eh. But I appreciate that, like these things are the things that we have to understand deep within ourselves. What are the issues that we grew up with that we haven't resolved? So, the things that dinadala natin sa market, usually mga real life, that really actually affects how we trade, how we deal with emotions, how we deal with risk. Especially, for example, if you're the type na may kilala ba kayo? Probably it's not you, but probably it's a different person. Pag let's say, niyaya mo siya sa mga events or something risky, and it's crazy, right? Like, nagjo-joke ka lang, tapos biglang, sige, tara, let's go, all in. Diba? May mga ganun tayo progress, diba? Ikaw yun eh. But anyway, tingnan mo how that person would deal with money, or how he or she decides, all in din yun. Yun the diversity, hindi nagkakaroon ng risk. So, dun pa lang, kailangan mong i-address yun. Kailangan mong i-identify yun. And if people are not gonna tell you that, you have to discover that on your own. So that's kind of like one thing that we need to be addressing, or that's one thing that we need to like always be watchful or be mindful of. We need to have accountability partners. We need to have people that can actually tell us, hey, mali yung ginagawa mo, or don't you think this is dangerous? Somebody who can check the brakes before you actually start driving.
Yes. Napakaganda nung mga ng sagot ni Boss Zino, and napaka-remarkable nung sinabi ni Boss na comparison is the thief of joy. and how about you, Boss James?
I think I agree rin with Boss Z. And the thing here is, when it comes to greed and FOMO, it's usually stem from looking outwards. Yung sabi nga ni Boss Z, you tend to compare yourself with other people, and not just the people, but also with the markets. But what's it doing? You tend to you tend to deal with what happened in the past, and then what could have happened in the future, without actually regarding where you are right now. So in a way, philosophically speaking, parang ano rin talaga siya eh. It's more of an internal problem rather than looking at it from the outside. Kasi if you're greedy because you didn't get this amount of gains, it's because you're comparing yourself, or you're comparing the decisions you've made in the past with what decisions you could have made in the future. And I think that's one problem that typical people have. Like myself, I am guilty of this, being reactive to things. Like if you are too reactive, as traders we have to react to the market, but we don't need to be too reactive. And it boils down to how prepared you are. What did you do? Are you worthy of getting those gains? You're telling yourself that, oh, sana nakuha ko yung Solana, or sana nakuha ko yung SHIB, or all these things, all these gains. But were you prepared to take on that trade during the time that you were supposed to take the trade? Right? So parang it all boils down to preparation. That's why, yun nga, sabi ni Luis kanina, preparation, when preparation meets opportunity. And it really happens. And people call it luck most of the time. Oh, certain niya naman nakuha niya yung stock na yun, nakuha niya yung trade niya. But you didn't see the process, the years or months or whatever preparation he made for that specific point in time to take that trade, to enter that trade, to set the amount of risk that he needed to take, and then take it all the way up. So yeah, so for me, greed and FOMO is really more about externals, looking at it on an outward view, and dealing too much on the past and on the future rather than focusing on what you can do right now and the systems that you've placed to be prepared for that kind of opportunity. So yun, parang ano lang din, it's more about being patient, having a bigger view. No, if you're patient, you know your process. Okay lang, sige. I didn't get this one. I know there's gonna be another one. There's gonna be more opportunities in the future, and I'll be better prepared. Because if you deal too much on the past, you're just gonna be dealing every time something good happens, the market goes up significantly, you're just gonna do that same reaction. You're gonna be greedy, you're gonna FOMO, you're gonna all these things because you focus too much on the past, on what has already happened, rather than preparing yourself for the next opportunity.
Yes. Sobrang agree ako sa sinabi ni Boss James, no. And alam mo 'yun, yung na-highlight niya na isang nasabi niya, it's more of a internal problem. Parang ayun talaga yung something na delikado. And nakita ko kanina na habang nagsasalita ka, Boss James, parang may naisip si Boss Z bigla na parang gusto niya i-share.
Yeah.
Tama ba ako, Boss Z?
Yeah. Actually, gusto ko nga sabihin, parang I'd just like to add to that kasi tama si James when he said na parang, a lot of us are being reactive about it. Parang pag nakita na natin yung opportunity, bakit hindi ko kasi sinakyan? Bakit hindi ko kasi ganito? It's kind of like you're just, parang nagsa-sour grape ka na lang sa corner. And you're not dealing with the issue at its roots. At its roots, it's kind of like hindi ka kasi nag-prepare. Ganon. Even if you had that gut feel, even if you had all that stuff, like parang gut feel is just gut feel. If you're not gonna act on it, or hindi mo alam kung anong ginagawa mo, you're just gonna end up on the spot whenever you miss a trade. So you want to anong tawag nito? If you want to make sure na hindi ka mafo-FOMO, be prepared, and once you prepare on a certain thing, you fight that certain way. Kasi ganito yan. If let's say for example you're not a momentum trader, right? You're a trend follower and you see a momentum trade happen, ang laki ng inakyat, 100% nagsa-celebrate yung mga tao. You have to come into that mindset that, you know what? I am not a momentum trader. My identity is a trend follower. And so I know that the market is going to be giving me an opportunity to trend follow. There will be a lot of opportunities right there. But it will only appear at the right time, at the right moment, when I deserve it because I prepared for it. Those people who are able to capture a certain move deserve that because they prepared for it. So, ang tanong dyan is, deserve ko ba na makuha itong klase ng mga gains na to? Kasi kung hindi mo lang deserve, kung nakita mo lang, kasi may mga ganun ba, nakita ko na yan eh. Bakit hindi ko nasakyan? Even if you see opportunity right there, pero hindi ka naman nag-act was that actually an opportunity? Hindi. Kasi bulag ka eh, basically. Like, if you already see an opportunity, you jump. Right?
Dito
Bakit may hesitation? Kung may hesitation dyan, ibig sabihin wala ka talaga nakitang opportunity. Wala lang yan eh. Parang gut feel lang yan. You just feel like, maybe I'm lucky, right? Like, to me, luck is like, it's there's no such thing as luck for me. I mean, there could be like some people na talagang merong ganong klaseng anointing or like may overflow sa buhay nila na they really have that, I get this, nakukuha ko talaga. May mga ganon talaga. But I wouldn't call it luck. Kasi when the bear market comes, you wouldn't say it's luck. It's really skill. Diyan mo malalaman eh. Some people are just born in the bull market. And then pagdating ng bear market, you know, they lose everything and they feel like, that person isn't lucky. You know, the people who are lucky, people who actually are born during bear markets, during the times that it's hard. Because during the hard times, if you're able to strive, if you're able to survive during bear markets, pagdating ng bull market, smooth sailing ka. Kasi alam mo kung paano mabuhay eh. That works not just in trading but in life, right? In business, ganun din. Pag nakikita mo yung business, kumikita kahit na tuyong-tuyo na yung market or talagang sobrang hindi kumikita yung iba tapos ikaw kumikita ka. Pagdating ng bull market, easy na lang para sa'yo eh.
Kinikilig ako, Boss Luis, sa sinabi niya about us, diba? About us being bear market babies. Diba?
Yes, because you're not blinded eh. Alam mo yung reality ng market. A lot of people, they take years. Like, ganito lang pala, ang bilis kumita ng pera. Nagsispray lang sila ng pera. Pagdating ng bear market, hindi nila alam kung paano gumalaw, di ba? They forgot how to fight. Or they're not prepared. They don't know.
Yeah. Sobrang thank you, Bossy. Actually, we could attest to that, guys. Lahat ng mga viewers. Well, kami ni Hyde, parang ilang years pa lang kami in studying and in trading, but because parang add ko na lang din na because of the community we're in, na sobrang na-chop down niya yung time sana, yung learning curve mo to on that area na kung paano ka magiging prepared sa mga ganitong opportunities. And I like yung sinabi ni Bozzy. Paano mo makikita? Bulag ka nga doon. So, hindi mo alam kung opportunity na yan kasi you're not prepared. Thank you, Bozzy. And yan. Let's proceed na rin. Before we ask may mga question tayo yung mga viewers natin dito, but we could answer that later sa ating NFT part or on that part na questions. And yan. Sige, let's proceed sa sunod nating question. And how to know if you are making good decisions or just getting lucky? Boss James.
Sige. How do you know if you're making good decisions? I think it stems again from the systems that you've made, no? Kasi if lagi naman natin sinasabi tayo, like Boss Z always tells us to love the process, but what is the process, di ba? Ano ba, where does the process start? You start it with identifying a goal that you've set in mind, and then you try to reach that goal. And then after you look into that goal, you're gonna encounter problems, just like in trading, right? When you started trading, you let's say you get lucky and then you get a good stock, and then after that you lose, and then it becomes a problem because you don't know bakit ba ako pumasok doon sa trade na yun, and then hindi naman pala siya magandang trade. And then after that, once you've encountered a problem, you need to make sure that you diagnose it, like review it, ano ba yung mali, ano ba yung tama na gagawin, and then next you build your system, and then next time ito yung gagawin ko, and then after that you move on to the next, and then again you're gonna encounter another problem. So in terms of making good decisions, it's all about making iterative failures, like making sure that you encounter all the mistakes that you need to make, and then you go up the ladder one step at a time. And I think this is how the process should be. It is a process of building on top of your failures. Like imagine your failures as bricks that you build on top of each other. Every time you make a mistake and you try to correct it, diagnose it, build systems on it, and those bricks of failures would be your foundation for you to go up the ladder. And then at the end of sa story nga ni Boss Z, after decades in the market, you'd have that gut feeling. That gut feeling kasi parang ano siya parang na-encounter ko na tong problem na before. Nakita ko na to. I already know how to solve it. I've built systems how to identify bull markets or identify bear markets. I used this system before. I think it's gonna work again. If it doesn't, then I tweak. Just like in the markets, right? We do back testing, forward testing. It doesn't fit into one blueprint, but rather it's a more dynamic system. And through the years, you build that and you get to a point wherein you make not perfect decisions, but technically good decisions based on the experiences you've experienced in the past. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how you know it's a good decision kasi parang parang tumatama ka na. Mas maraming tama kaysa mali. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sa akin naman, agree ako dun. You have to build on failure. Kasi if you can't like identify where you are wrong, or let's say for example you're too prideful to admit that I made a mistake here, you're never gonna be learning from that, and it's gonna be a cycle. And ang mahirap dyan is parang kung hindi mo talaga tatanggapin na mali ka tapos nagiging na siyang cycle, ganun talaga, then you're just gonna be in that kind of parang lifestyle for a long time and you're gonna be bitter. And so it's always encouraging na parang when you're trying to learn something, commit all the mistakes just so that you know how it feels and just so you know how to deal with it, diba? Some people think mistakes is like parang hindi, wala na katapusan ng mundo, right? So those usually are people who have that who came from, let's say, families na ang in-instill is yung fixed mindset that there's never ever gonna be growth when it comes to a certain thing that you're trying to learn. Pag wala ka talagang talent dyan, hindi talaga para sa'yo yan, di ba? So, yan yung gusto nating iwasan na kind of mindset. We always want to be having that mindset of, no, the reason why I'm good is because I've developed and I've learned and experienced all these mistakes, and from there, I build on top of that. So, I think sina-cover naman ata halos na ni James.
Yeah.
So and for me the only time that you would know, especially if you're a trader, right, that okay ka na is if through years, like for example the next year and the next year and the next year, and during the time that the market shifts, you don't make the same mistakes na. Then you would say, okay, I have grown. Like you would say parang like from sayang na-miss ko to alam ko na to, right? And then you act accordingly.
Ang ganda na sagot. Nama-mind blown talaga ako. Sorry guys ha. Kasi like what Boss James said, I think you'll know if you have made good decisions if yung results that you get are desirable, diba? But based on your edge, based on your practice over the years, based from the things that you have done throughout the years. Pero guys, what do you think? How can we actually incorporate yung laging tinuturo sa atin sa TR na at the end of the day, trading is a probability game, right? So dun I guess pumapasok yung sabi ni Boss C na if you make a mistake, you have to accept it. Kasi kahit na anong mangyari, kahit na perfect yung system mo, kahit na alam mo lahat ng pasikot-sikot with the trading, but if there is a certain percentage that you can get wrong or you can be wrong, then you just have to accept it. So that's just my take from what Boss James and Boss Z have said, diba?
Yes. I think din papasok yung yung confidence and trust mo sa system mo.
Correct.
Kasi when you truly believe in your system, no matter what happens to the coin, whether you win or you lose, it doesn't affect you too much because you know there is truly a probability that you're going to do such a trade. You don't win 100% of the time. And you know that for a fact, based on the edge, based on the system that you've made over the years, dun din pumapasok yung, that's why it takes a lot of years to become a consistently profitable trader and a consistently disciplined person, is that you need to build that confidence in your system as well as in yourself, that you can trust yourself to do the right thing when the time comes that you need to take on a trade. Because without experience, you won't be able to build confidence in your system, and you won't be able to trust yourself. And through trust, you'll know that no matter what happens in the market, you have an edge, and you just have to move on to the next until you win.
Ang ganda, Louis. Ang ganda ng mga answers that we're getting from our guests
Sobrang
tonight.
pati tayo, sobrang natututo talaga.
Oo, exactly. Thank you, Boss James and Boss Z. We have a few questions on the chat. I think we can actually ask some of them before we proceed to some of the questions. We have a question from Luca and Brian about Cardano NFT space and Ethereum and Sol. Siguro pagsamahin na lang natin both questions. Ano masasabi niyo about those questions, Boss James and Boss Z?
So starting with the NFT space, it's really about knowing the fundamentals on how you scale. Kasi it's quite tricky when you start small, because the space is quite big. You need to have access to a lot of things, a lot of information. It's quite different from trading, because in trading it's just you in the markets, but with NFTs, it's all about communities, it's all about collaboration, it's all about information. So the more information that you have access to, the more likely you are to succeed in the space, in a way, because information and community, knowing people, knowing projects is important. So my advice would be to get into the good communities, and then start from there, start asking questions and how people grind their way up. There's going to be a lot of stories there. Like, I started with 10 Sol, I went to 100 Sol, right? All those success stories, you want to read those, and then you want to read on the things that went wrong, right? I think there's also, like, same as DR, you get to see the port snaps of winning and losing trades. And in the same case, in the NFT space, you can look for how people built their portfolio over the months or over the years, and you can replicate those. You adjust based on their systems, and then you create your own system to make it.
That's
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
That's actually a good, parang halos lahat sinabi mo na, James. Siguro the thing that I could add to that is follow the money. So if you can afford it, buy top tier NFTs, because that's where the insider money is. Like, people most likely who are in those category know something. And in NFTs, it's an insider's game. It's so hard to find information or quality information, because sometimes if you go to low tier projects, there's a reason why they're low tier projects or why they're cheap. And there are certain projects, there's a reason why they're expensive, right? It's not just because it's a brand, or it's not just because they're successful on certain things. It's because they know things that we don't know. And so our job, if you're getting into any NFT space, is to follow the people who are actually knowing, or who actually know what they're doing. So you find people who resonate on the things that you want to become, right? If you want to become an investor, then find people or NFT investors. If you want to become NFT flipper, find people who are NFT flippers. If you want to be both, then find those people and then follow those things. So you always need to be following where the money is going, especially when it comes to NFTs. As traders, we have an edge here because we would know when to time the markets, when to exit, when to probably take certain loans and then flip and then repay those loans. So there's also an edge if you're a trader, because you can see data here. Data will never lie. because some people here, it's kind of like companies, right? It's just like Wild Wild West, not regulated, but it's still the same thing, just a little wild. So the things that you see in the charts, those are also hints for you to find which ones are the good ones to invest in, and which ones do you think have potential.
Yes, I agree. Sobrang juicy naman nun, boss. And thank you, Boss James and Boss Z, for answering that. And meron pa tayong next question dito from our YouTube viewer, si Trox. Sabi niya, how to shift your mindset from tilt to zone in? And how do you handle those things?
Wow, that's a good question. For you, Throx, if you're trading, right, and then you get tilted, probably it's because something happened in your real life, and then biglang hindi mo maiwasan, nag-trade ka, and then it got you affected. Or probably what happened was you got into a string of losses, and then after that you feel tilted. You feel like, I just want to get those profits back, or I just want to get my capital back, right? So that's usually the mindset of being in tilt. How do I make sure that I'm in the zone or going back into the zone? I need to be, as a trader, develop a certain routine. Like, I would call this the morning routine, but you can call it the in the zone routine. You know, when in the morning, or like, I always ask this to people, what is one thing that you do in the morning? When you do it, you feel accomplished. So other people, ang sagot nila, if I drink my coffee and then enjoy my coffee. Other people, if it's I wake up at a certain time. Other people, if I take a shower. For me, it's a morning routine. If I do my morning routine, like I wake up at, let's say, 7:30 or let's say 8 o'clock, and then afterwards I go and shower, I go and drink my water, and if I do all those things, I do my prayer time. After that, okay na ako. I'm in the zone. I can go back from tilt. Now, what happens if in the middle of the day you got tilted? You know what I would probably do? I'm gonna force myself to do the in the zone habit again. So what my morning routine did for me, so that I could be in the zone, I would do that again, even if it's in the middle of the day. Naligo na ako sa umaga, pero I feel tilted. Sige, maligo ako ulit, tapos gagawin ko ulit yung morning routine ko. That's actually a hack. Kasi it brings you, your physical being, like it kind of like jumpstarts you to have that. For other people, it's not a routine. For other people, it could be an ice cream. Like, ang init ng ulo ko. Siguro pag nakakain ako ng sweets, or like if I have my ice cream or if I have my coffee, right? Then kakalma ako. So find what are the things that make you feel good, what make you feel accomplished, and then see how that would affect you. What are the things that, like for example, when you go to work, tas bigla kang napapakanta or biglang nagwi-whistle, like you're in a happy state. What did you prior to that for you to, be in that state? Identify those, and those are going to be your in the zone routines for you to hack yourself. Pagka dumating ka sa point na, ay, natilt ako, anong gagawin ko?
Yan, solid.
Ang ganda. Natawa ako sa isang comment. May isang comment na liligo ata ako ng 15 times pag ganyan.
Oo. Hindi kinain ng isa.
Hindi kinain ng dalawa. Hindi rin kinain ng 3. 15 times daw siya maliligo.
Alter siguro to.
Okay, Boss James, how about you?
Nakakatuwa lang kasi parang inline siya. Kasi one of my favorite books, yung Atomic Habits by James Clear. Meron siya dong quote, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Parang when the time comes that you feel like you're tilted, yun nga kay Throx, when you feel like you're tilted, it boils down to what do you do when you're tilted. Parang if-then statement lang siya. If you're a coder or kahit sa trading, diba? If else lang naman yung nangyayari dyan. If it breaks down from this, I sell. If it goes up, it breaks out, it's gonna continue. Ganyan, parang if else statement lang siya. So if you don't have that system, yun nga, yung morning routine mo, then what are you going to fall back on? Goals mo? Diba? Like, okay, goal ko kumita, pero wala kang system, saan ka babagsak? It goes back to dun sa sinabi ko kanina. You build you build your foundation, and those foundation are based on your systems. So if you don't have a system, you don't have a foundation, then you're gonna fall back on nothing. You're gonna fall, you're gonna go into the ground. Kaya yun, na ano ko lang kasi that is one of my favorite books kasi um yun yung parang laging sinasabi sa atin, di ba, nung bata tayo, nag-aaral pa lang tayo. What is your goal? Ano ba gusto mo paglaki mo? Ano ba yung gusto mong marating? Ito ba yung, like, anong path yung gusto mong i-take?
Yeah.
But we don't really get the conversations on what do you need to do to get to that goal.
Yeah.
Diba?
True.
So,
True.
you know, it's a good conversation to have with your family, with your friends, is to talk about the process and the systems that you need to do in order to achieve the goals that you want. Kasi laging parang shiny object syndrome. You you just want the good things but not really do the hard things. Right?
Yep. Hence, in Trading Republic, that's why we always hear the saying, process over profits. Diba? It's the process more than anything else, and the profits will just follow. So yung sinasabi ni Boss James na it's not just the end or the destination that we need to focus on. It's also the middle. Diba?
The journey.
Journey. Yan. Correct. Very nice talaga ang mga sagot natin tonight. I cannot get over it.
Yes.
Okay,
Boss
sige.
James, nabanggit ka kanina regarding sa books. So, sige, tuloy na natin dito sa susunod na question. May mga recommendations ba kayo for us to, kung pwede mapanood or pwede mabasa, for us to get prepared here sa bulk market? Or do you have any other tips just to be prepared?
I think books, I'm very fond of books kasi I like to buy a lot of books. Marami pa akong books sobra na hindi pa nababasa. I just buy them because I like the idea of what's inside. But one of my favorites is Atomic Habits, James Clear. And then number 2 is Meditations, if you're familiar, by Marcus Aurelius. It's one of the main books that was recommended by my brother to me. And the time that I read it, it was really life-changing. It's perspective-changing. Kasi we discussed this sa Crypto FGD last week. I talked about meditation and how to meditate, being mindful, being present. Kaya kung mapapansin niyo yung mga discussions ko earlier, I'm more inclined to talk about being in the present moment rather than focusing on the past and on the future. Kasi yun yung parang teaching with Stoicism. If you're familiar, Stoicism is dealing with what you can control rather than things that you can't control. That's why I like the book, because if you have that concept, you have that at the back of your mind, if this is something I can't control, then there's nothing I can do about it. Like traffic or weather, all these things, there's no point in expending energy on them. So I'd rather focus on things that I can control. And then there's also, so that's 2 books. My third book siguro, na-share ko rin sa AG ko. Just last month, I finished reading it, Hyper Focus by Chris Bailey. So this is one of the most noteworthy books that I've done, because it focuses on, morning routine. When is it time to focus? When is it time to be creative? Kasi minsan, di ba, parang tao, it's either you're 8 hours, puro ka workaholic. It doesn't help pala. It's important then that you have what he calls scatter focus. Yung time to be creative, time to be free-flowing, time to bring in ideas. So, yun. I think those 3 books would be good already to shift perspective in terms of how to deal with, actually it deals with a lot of things kasi greed, FOMO, I think pagka na-understand mo talaga yung concepts within those books, I think it would be somehow diminished kasi humans pa rin naman tayo, emotions, di ba? But pagka may perspective ka na things happen for a reason and everything is connected, it's yun nga sabi ni boss, he believes that in a way luck doesn't happen talaga, di ba? It's more about things lining up, happening because you're prepared, or because this happened after this if then statement. It's a combination of everything that's happening around you, and I think those books would really help you have a grasp on those concepts.
I've noted them down, Boss James. Thank you very much. Lalagay ko sa list to read for the 2023. Yon. How about Boss Z? Any recommendations for us?
Yeah. To me, it's there's one. It's Balance, Positioning Yourself to Do All Things Well by Robert Ture. So that's one thing na parang naisip ko kasi it's also one of the things that you can use if you want to go in the zone, right? To do anything actually, and how you can recover from setbacks, all of that stuff. So yeah, it's just that, and really the power of habit or atomic habits. So those are the things na para for me, read the book and get an accountability partner or a buddy or a team or a group. It's so important that you have someone you can be accountable with on these things. Kasi what if you read all these things pero wala namang nag-check up or nagpo-follow up sa'yo, and vice versa, right? How can you grow, as a person or maximize that? Pwede naman na mag-solo ka. Wala namang problema doon. But what I'm saying is that it's better if you do it with community or if you do it with someone.
Mm-hmm. It's more fun that way. At saka may magpupush sa'yo.
Yes.
May manggigilty sa'yo. Nabasa mo na ba yung ganyan? Oo, diba?
May mamamalo sa'yo.
Mamamalo, correct. Walang paluan sa TR, guys. Joke lang. Joke lang, yun. Okay, sige. I think we have a few questions on the chat again. And let's go back to the question of Mr. Brian about Sol. So, what he's asking is, ano masasabi niyo, Boss C, sa Sol? Especially, alam ko may hawak po kayo. Pwede po ba siya i-hold? Salamat po. Sabi ni Boss Brian. Okay.
So, if you've been following my posts or if you've been following me in Facebook, I started one of the projects this year. Usually, I do this every December and January na I reallocate either family, friends, or business partner, mga funds, investments. And sobrang lakas ng conviction ko with Sol. I have a lot of it. And, well, marami may portion doon tinatrade ko, may portion doon nilalagay ko sa DeFi, may portion doon nilalagay ko sa NFTs. I'm really just diversifying myself into the whole ecosystem. And I believe it so much. Like, I believe the ecosystem, I believe the whole Solana space. Of course, I'm not saying that there's no other opportunities with others, right? I'm just being more focused into that area because I see that there's an opportunity there. And so I go with my convictions. If you're asking me, like, meron pa bang pag-asa, like hold ba to or what? It really would depend on you, and it really would depend on how you would view the space. Kasi I can't impose my beliefs on you. I can't really, kumbaga, nasa sa'yo yun talaga how you would handle your money. I can't tell you what to do. And then you should also be parang mindful on how you should act as a trader, as an investor. Siyempre, kung may mga bagay ka na hindi kayang gawin or like, hindi mo makipagsabayan, paano ba? Act your size, basically. I made a blog about this before. Act your size. If you're a shrimp or if you're a shark, you don't act like a whale, right? Whales kasi, they have all the buying power, they have unlimited funds, they have all of these resources that's available to them. But if you're, let's say, a shrimp, or let's say you're a fish or a shark, there are only certain things that you can do. Hindi mo kaya makipagsabayan sa whales. Kasi napapansin ko, some people, hindi, kasi sinabi ng kaibigan ko ganito. Hindi kayo magkapareho ng buying power. So, kailangan maging, act your size, basically.
Nice.
Act your size. Ayan. And sabi ni Boss Manny, naka-short daw siya kay Sol. Boss Z.
Ayos naman. Nasa NFTs ako so it's kind of like, kaya marami akong ginagawa sa okay lang.
Yeah. And we have another question here, and this is from Double J. Ayan, sabi niya, how to overcome burnout, especially like me na newbie, na di pa rin naging profitable. And Boss James.
I think burnout kasi I think the how to overcome burnout. So it's all about taking a pause, taking that step back to assess everything. All throughout the night, we've been discussing how it's all about the process, it's all about reviewing, it's all about making systems. And if you fall down to becoming a person who burns out a lot, it says a lot about the systems that you've set in place. Because if it's a system that's good for you, it's not gonna cost you to burn out. So siguro, if you are not yet profitable, again, I think in that statement alone, you're looking towards profits. Yun yung sabi ni Heidi, process over profits. If you are not yet profitable, then you might want to build on your process. Maybe there's something there that needs to be worked on. And again, yung process mo sa trading, that's different from your process from being a person. First and foremost, if you're not yet disciplined, you don't have a routine, you're not doing things consistently, even the smallest things, like every morning I need to make my bed. For me kasi that's my thing, that's my one thing. I need to make my bed. It needs to be cleaned. So if even at that smallest instance na hindi ko siya magawa on a day-to-day basis, then dun pa lang there's something wrong with the system. Yeah, that's why I like being a trader a lot. Kasi it helps you learn more about yourself faster. It forces you, in a way, it forces you to grow faster. Kasi when you chase profits, it's gonna show that then you lose money. It's gonna show na may problems ka with your life, and then you're gonna assess again. You're gonna look internally, look at the things that's happening in your life, and then yun, parang ano lang siya, nakakatuwa lang. It makes the process faster talaga.
How about Bossy? What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it's the same. It's the same. Like, halos lahat na sabi na rin ni James.
Okay. Sa sobrang daming information, parang na-info overload ako. In a good way, ha? In a good way, guys. And I hope our listeners tonight have been learning a lot of things as well from Boss James and Boss Zino. Pero guys, di pa tayo tapos. Okay lang ba mag-overtime ng konti lang?
Sige, go
We just
lang.
have a few questions lang to
Konti,
ask.
mga 30 minutes.
Hindi naman. Wag naman mga 30 minutes. Mga siguro 25. Joke. Okay, sige. So, do we still have a few questions on the chat? Meron ata isa
Yeah,
from
for sure, dadami yan eh.
Oo, sige.
Magtatanong-tanong yan.
Sige,
Yung iba
sige.
nahihiya lang. Pero sige, go.
Feeling ko eh. Pero I can see only one question left. Pero before we ask that question, let me ask, how do you deal with setbacks during a bull market, ha? Kasi iba yung setbacks pagka bear eh. Diba?
Oo nga eh.
Especially if everyone around you is celebrating. Diba? Parang may iba kasi na nakikita nila na, oh no, si ganito, nag-gain na ng ganyan. Bakit ako parang steady lang, slow progress lang ako? Pero yung ibang tao, ang saya-saya nila. Especially for, like yung sinabi ni Boss James kanina, ng mga taong may trust and confidence issues. How do you actually manage that?
Okay, there's one very quick, hindi naman quick. This is actually a skill. This is a discipline that you have to develop. How you develop, or how do you deal with setbacks? How do you put yourself into a mindset wherein, even if it's a setback, you're still grateful, right? And yeah, sinabi ko na, it's being grateful. It's being grateful because one, what if, let's say, imagine everyone's just celebrating and you're not. Probably you're not doing any profits, or hindi mo na ma-maximize yung profits, or probably nagka-cut loss ka, or hindi mo na sasakayin yung mga tabang stocks or coins, and then you see your other people in your community or yung mga katabi mo na parang, bakit sila ganun? You know what? It's not gonna help if you have this mentality na parang sana malugi kayo, or like that crab mentality of bakit sila ganyan, ako hindi, right? Your season is gonna come. It's just a matter of when, but also it's a matter of, are you going to be preparing for it? And during those times that you're feeling a setback, you have to always remember two things. Your identity, number one, right? For me, this is how I deal with a lot of setbacks. When I feel like I'm a loser, when I feel like hindi ko alam kung anong ginagawa ko, when I feel like I'm lost, I do go back to, like, for example, God's word in the Bible that says, like, this is your identity. You're a winner. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but I've given you a spirit of what? Of power, of love, of sound mind. So parang to me, okay, yeah, this is the identity that you've given me. So I'm beloved. I'm this and that. Dun pa lang parang I feel like, okay, even if I don't feel like it at the moment, right? It's so hard kasi if you just base on that, you need to have faith. But if you put yourself into that state na parang, this is not my identity, this is just kind of like my state right now, but not my identity, then it actually helps you kind of overcomes the situation. Another thing is being grateful. Being grateful that there have been a lot of times probably in your life that you have gone through a lot of shitty experiences and you survived. Whether you believe in God or not, you survived. You're here. And in this moment, you feel like, oh, there is still more to this than, what I'm experiencing currently. And remember the times that you went through tough seasons, right? And those tough seasons actually was the very thing that molded you to becoming who you are. So it's kind of like, think of these trying times, these trying moments in your life as opportunities for you to grow. Because without these trials, how would you know if you actually are tough? Diba? And probably these are the moments where, like, hindi kasi sayang yan eh. You can see it na parang sayang, ganito yung nangyari sa'yo, but you know what? Maybe that experience is being used so that in the future, if there's another person who would feel down, who would feel in the same rut that you felt, you would know exactly what to say to that person. You can minister to that person and say, you know what? I know how you feel. And I feel like sometimes that's what people need. Someone nakaramay mo sa ganung bagay. You don't need to fix things. Sometimes you just need to have a person to hear you out and to vent out, diba? And it's so different when you hear words of encouragement from people with authority. When I say people with authority, it's people who have gone through that same shit that you're going through and they made it up alive and successful sila, diba? So that is the kind of, character building moments that I would say you have to go through. Like, I wish you all go through shitty experiences, not because I want you to experience that, but because I want you to grow as a person. All of the aspects in life you would be able to develop if you go through hard times. Imagine if things were too easy for you, right? Lahat na nilagay sa harap mo. Di ba meron yung sinasabi sa kanila na parang if you help a butterfly out from its cocoon, it's never ever gonna be able to transform into a butterfly or to fly because tinulungan mo siya and then hindi siya duman dun sa process na yon. So rather than hating or like being in that state na parang ang sakit or ganito ganyan, like, just be grateful. Just be grateful that this is a moment that is testing your character out, making sure that you're molded into a person that can endure tough seasons. That's it.
Grabe, I can't help but become emotional. Ano ba to? May ganda. Ang ganda, Bossy. Sobrang ganda. And I think I can also echo yung sinasabi na natin inside TR na you also have to find your wins outside trading. So I think that's also really in relation to being grateful as well. Not just in trading, but also in other aspects in life na kahit small stuff. No, we need to focus on that as well. How about Boss James? What else can you add to Boss's
I think na-cover na ni Boss Zina.
Oo, ang ganda, super deep. Parang bawat word ni Bossy na, ouch, ouch, oo nga, no, tama. Sobrang tagos sa puso.
I think yung question is how to deal with setbacks. Kasi traders tayo, di ba? Syempre, we deal with setbacks a lot. It happens. Even in life, talagang may mga setbacks. And a quote comes to mind, yung sabi nga ni Boss Z about hardships. And not that I want you to have hardships, but ito yung quote, it says, if you want a hard life, make it easy. If you want an easy life, make it hard.
So true, right? Tama.
Because to the point of Boss Z, whenever we have struggles on the religion side, there's just also another quote. There's this person who said, I asked for strength and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom and God gave me problems to learn to solve. So it's the same thing. If you want to conquer setbacks, you need to become a resilient person. And what does it mean to become resilient? You need to undergo situations that are problematic, risky, something that you're not familiar with, going outside of your comfort zone. All these things are necessary for you to become the person that you were made to become. Because that is your calling, right? That is, to Boss Z's point, that is who you become. And once you know who you are, then all these things will make sense. That's why they always say there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And until you reach the end of the tunnel, the light is so small that you can see it, but there is a light.
Ganda. Boss Luis, kamusta? Reflect ka din, ano? Napapa-reflect tayo eh.
Alam mo yung point na, kailangan mo talaga siyang pagdaanan. And sabi nga ni Bossy kanina, I hope na sana nga kayo lahat parang gano'n.
Oo, ma-experience natin. Yeah.
Ma-experience yan. Kasi it will create a tougher version of you talaga.
Yep, exactly. Sabi nga ni Ness, something like that sa chat, fall 7 times, stand 8. Never give up. And then also Christopher Ryan says, grabe Boss Z, grateful for knowing this community. Diba, sa TR, hindi lang tayo trading ang topic. Anything under the sun we talk about. And these things, the deep things that we have been talking about in the last few minutes, that's also something that we discuss inside TR. And yeah, sobrang grateful talaga kami to be part of this community. Diba, Boss Luis?
Yes, and eto na, nag-overflow na yung...
ang dami ng questions, ano? Are you guys still okay to answer them?
And ang dami nilang reflections dito sa...
No, ang daming reflections din.
Game naman ako.
Yes, thank you. And then sabi ni Ma'am Jemima, amen, full of wisdom, very inspiring, daming learning sa inyo mga sirs. Indeed, God bless. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. All right, sige, do you want to proceed to the next question? I think we have a few questions to address sa chat box na Boss Luis.
Yes. Here's the next one, Bozzy. Sabi dito, thoughts nyo po sa statement ng World Bank na possible po mag-recession this year, how it affects the market?
Okay, sige. So, sa akin ganito yan As a trader, I trade what I see, what not I think. So, even if sobrang bullish ko, meron pa rin akong cash na nakalagay. Although meron akong mga investments din. But to me, parang the world is not gonna be a better place, right? This is like adding to what we were discussing kanina. It's gonna get worse. Recession happening. Kailan ba nagiging mura yung mga bagay-bagay? Kailan ba last tumaas yung sahod mo? May mga ganyan, di ba? It's kind of like the world is just gonna be so tough. Recession that's gonna happen, kung anong gulo. This is expected. What's important is you develop yourself. You stay grounded, have faith, and make sure that you know your identity. You need to be founded. Kasi if you're not founded and you don't know your identity, pagka nagkagulo, magpapanik ka. Diba? It's kind of like, I feel lost. Bakit ganito yung nangyari? But if you're confident, or let's say, for example, you've built yourself, you have prepared yourself for hard times, you've built skills that would able to help you survive this world, then you're gonna be okay. So, when it comes to your question, sorry, medyo napalayo na parang recession, matagal na nating nakikita, matagal na nating nararamdaman yan. It's kind of like they're just announcing it there. Pero nangyayari na.
Yeah.
What, di ba? Parang sabi ko kasi nagagalit pa pag sinasabi ko, recession. Guys, hindi tayo bulag.
Would you believe as well that sometimes when news come out, usually it's late na?
Yeah.
Di ba? Ganun. Parang ako rin din na observation ko when everyone knows, it's usually late. It's late in the game pag lahat ng tao nakakaalam na. Anyway. Yeah. Siguro isang question for Boss James na galing kay Boss Marvin, when to be aggressive and defensive daw? I suppose that's referring to siguro taking trades, no? Yeah,
Taking trades.
Yeah. Oo. Yeah, I think so.
I guess it boils down to risk management. Lagi yung tinuturo sa mentors natin sa TR about risk management and how to deal with things. We call it martingale if you're familiar. If it's more dependent on you rather than the market, but the market is of course an indicator of what risk management you're gonna use. So siguro to keep it short, be aggressive when you're winning, be defensive when you're losing. Kasi when you're winning, it's okay, right? You just continue on. But when you're losing, that is when the time you should assess your system and the markets. Is your system working during this type of market condition? Right? Basically, that's it. If it's not working, you're losing consistently, like there's more losses than wins, then you need to be defensive and assess. Change your system or don't trade. Then be aggressive when it's your season.
Yeah. It all boils down to your system as well, di ba? Kasi if na-backtest mo na yung system mo, then you will know when you will be applying that, which part or which cycle of the market as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It needs to be holistic. Yun nga. It needs to be holistic. You need to identify when your market is, when your system works, and then what cycle we are in currently in the markets. Like right now, everything's going up, then you should be trading going up. If it goes down, then you should be trading going down. If you don't know how to short or you don't know how to trade pullbacks, then don't trade.
Correct. And all these things are taught inside TR. We just had our webinar from Sir Yuri last week ba yun, Boss Luis, or 2 weeks ago about this. When to be aggressive and when to be, di ba? Remember?
Yes,
Meron tayong color coding for that, right?
Yeah, the red, yellow, green.
Correct. So if you guys want to be part of TR, kasi someone asked how to become part of TR, we do have a Facebook page that you can send a question to, right? Tama ba yun, Luis?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have the link? Maybe we can
yes, we have the link here.
Yan.
Later
so for those
yan.
who are interested to join, Boss Luis will be sending the link later.
Here then sa comment sections and
Sa comment section. Yep. And we would love for you guys to be part of TR and be with us. Makipagkulitan tayo sa loob ng TR.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
yes,
so
siguro last question from the
last question
comment.
na. Yeah.
Siguro
Okay.
it is from who? Anyway, this is the question. Sabi niya, "Boss, I want to start being a full-time trader. I am not profitable yet, but I have experience since 2018 trading every day. Trading as a risk first and lesson ang lesson na medyo na-adapt ko. What po may papayo nyo?"
To me, to be blunt, do not go for it. Kasi if you're not profitable yet, you're signing a death wish. So parang, even if you have a lot of experience in trading, pero hindi ka naman kumikita, then ibig sabihin hindi ka lang natututo eh. I'm sorry to be very blunt and be very straight with you, but that's just how it is. kung wala kang working system in the markets and matagal ka nang nag-trade pero hindi ka kumikita, then don't go full-time trading. The only time that you need to be going into full-time trading is pagka nakikita ka na ng results mo, na kumikita ka, na less na yung mga losses mo, mas malaki yung kinikita mo. Or, dapat ganun. Kasi, wala. Pag hindi, even if, let's say, marami kasing ganito na parang, ang tagal ko na sa markets, diba? Alam mo yung mga taong sobrang yabang na, tagal-tagal ko na sa market, ganito. Pero, hindi pa rin kumikita ng sobra. Like, speculators lang, or ipit pala sa ibang bagay, tapos may isang pumutok, nasakyan ko yan. Tapos yun pala lahat linilagyan, di ba? May mga ganun kasing mga klaseng tao. And, I tell you, it's not in the years of your experience. It's more about like, have you learned from your experiences? Kasi even if you've experienced something but you refuse to grow, then wala, di ba? How can you say it's progress if you refuse to grow through your experiences? So ganun. When you see that you have become profitable, saka ka na mag full-time trading. And even when you come to that point na full-time trader ka na, because some people think, dahil marami na akong oras to do full-time trading, I can have more money now. It's not the case. Whatever the routine you have, na nagpa full-time trader sa'yo, gawin mo yung ganong same routine. Huwag ka nang magdagdag ng iba pa. Kung ano yung time na nakuha mo because you're a full-time trader, do that, use that for other things in life. Family, your hobby, the things that you've offset just because, you had like a job probably. What are the things na gusto mong balikan para, to become more experiencing life in the full? Do those things. Diversify. Diba? When I said earlier in this podcast, or ano bang tawag natin dito? Radio talks na you gotta diversify when it comes to stocks or when it comes to your investments. You also gotta diversify in life. Because if you don't diversify in the things that you're doing in life, if naka-all-in ka sa trading and then you fail into that, what happens is that probably that becomes your identity. You feel like, I've put everything here. I've put everything on the line for trading or for this course or for this job. And then you lose that. You lose your job. You lose or bumagsak ka sa course na tinitake mo. That is gonna be your identity. Why? Because nag-all-in ka dun eh. Hindi ka nag-diversify. But if you are balanced in life, if you balance yourself when it comes to your family, if you balance yourself when it comes to career, in your relationships, in all the things that you're doing in life, then if one aspect fails, then you wouldn't feel as shitty as you would when you go all in on that one thing.
See? Not even in trading but also outside trading. Wag mag-all-in, guys. Ganun lang kasimple yun.
Feeling ko ako yung sinasabihan ni Boss Z.
Natatamaan ka, Luis? Okay. I think that also answers your question, capable ka pa? Because he or she asked, what signs to become full-time trader and quit my job? So nasagot na naman yan ni Boss Z. So hopefully you were able to catch that answer. Sige, last na question na, guys. Mr. Julian Fernandez asked about copy trading. Any thoughts?
I actually made a post about that on my Facebook. You can check it out. But yeah, I made a walkthrough. I feel like you can do copy trading, no worries. I mean, it's like leverage, right? Like you're leveraging on other people's skills. And there's systems right now na does the profit share for the trader and for the followers or people who are copying that trader. So definitely, kasi if it's working and if you have a system to find which traders to copy or which traders to invest, go ahead, do that. Kasi pati ako ginagawa ko yun eh. We've invested into a forex bot as well. Although hindi ganun kalaki kasi it's not something that I specialize in. But that's part of diversifying your funds. Why not go copy trade if like other traders can do that? Pero syempre, you have to know, kailangan mo kilatisin. Kasi, for example, that trader could be good during this season na halimbawa, chopping market or nagkaroon ng market turn. So, invest ka doon. Pero wag lang sa kanya. Mag-invest ka din doon sa magaling mag-trend follow. Mag-invest ka din doon sa magaling mag-long term. Mag-invest ka doon sa scalper. Ganun. Like, you gotta be diversified kasi hindi mo alam kung itong taong to magaling lang sa certain season. So, when that season ends, and di mo na nakita na, ay, kumikita ba to? Binigyan kanya ng kita during a certain season that probably was not working for the rest. And then come another season, here's another trader that's making you money. So again, no all-ins, diversify. If copy trading is something that you feel like, this is what I want to go and diversify into, then do that. Explore. Baka mamaya, yun na yung gagawin mo. But again, I'm not saying na don't develop your skills. Kasi baka mamaya you become so dependent on other people. You become dependent on me. You be dependent on other people that you forget to, create skills for yourself. Kasi paano kung nawala yung tao na yun? Paano kung nawala yung network mo? Paano ka? Paano yung investment mo? Diba?
True.
Yes.
Again, diversification, guys.
Diversify.
Don't put your eggs in one basket.
Yes. Nakita natin na it could be applied yung
anywhere.
Anywhere. And
how about Boss James? Last few words.
Yes. Any thoughts?
Ay, Boss James, nakamute ata.
Nakamute
Boss
ka.
James. Yep. Yon.
Last words na ba? Or I think siguro on a note na lang siguro. As people kasi we already know everything that we need to do. Like, it's a fact. We know what to do. It's just that it's hard to do. Everything is so simple. It's black and white. You need to exercise to have a fit body. You need to eat healthy to have a healthy body. It's so simple, but not everyone can do it. It's so simple, but it's not easy. And everyone knows what to do. You just have to do it. So siguro what I could say lang is do what you say. Like it's that simple. Do what you say. If you say you're gonna work out. If you say you're gonna go on a diet, you're gonna go on a diet. Because if you do not follow what you say, it's basically saying that you don't trust yourself.
Yes.
And everything that you do is built on how much you trust yourself, and that builds confidence that's gonna spill over into everything that you do in life.
Yeah, that's what you call integrity.
Yon. Ako naman ang nakuhaan doon sa diet and exercise. Okay, sige. So, for Boss Z's last words, I think maybe, Boss Z, you can incorporate with your last words yung last question natin sa chat box. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, about copying the lifestyle of a trader. Will it make someone a better trader? Yun.
Okay.
Sige.
So, now here's something that a lot of people miss. Because we see a lot of successful people and then we copy their lifestyle. It's not the case. Because we're not at the same level. If you want to be successful like that person and you want to copy that lifestyle, then first copy their process.
Yep.
So, ano yung ginawa nila para maging successful sila? You don't copy a person's lifestyle, copy their process. And then you reach that level of lifestyle if that is something that you want. But why copy a person's lifestyle if you can define what success is for yourself? You have to define what success is for you. Otherwise, the world is going to define that for you. And most of the time, it's not going to give you any happiness. You're going to think through all those years, naabot ko na, but why am I not happy?
Grabe. Kasi everyone has their own yardstick. Tama naman, diba? Hindi talaga, iba talaga yung kay Luis, iba yung kay Heidi, iba yung kay Boss James, iba yung kay Boss Z, iba yung kay Boss Yuri, kay Boss Alpha. Ganun talaga eh. We all have different goals why we went into trading in the first place, right? So, yeah. Sobrang ganda nitong episode na to. More than 1.5 hours.
Yes, more than.
I'm not sure if that has happened before, but thank you. Thank you so much. If it's not the best, it's one of the best episodes ng TR Radio Talk. Sobrang informative and eye-opening siya. Diba, Boss Luis?
Yeah, sobra.
Oo, grabe.
Sobrang jump pack talaga. Like what we're saying earlier, di ba?
Oo. From the start, sinabi na natin Winar na natin sila jam-packed And we delivered, guys. Especially from our guests, Boss James and Boss Z.
Yes.
Thank you to our guests. Thank you to our
so
listeners.
Much.
Your questions have been fantastic. Thank you very much. And thank you to our tech, Boss June, to our trend leader, Boss Shek. Thank you so much. And
Yes.
hopefully you were able to get something out of our conversation tonight and that we were able to impart nuggets of wisdom to you. Okay? So sobrang nating na-discuss, it's impossible not to learn anything kahit konti. Hi, Boss
Sure.
Orville! Friend ko yan! Binubudol ko yan eh. Hi, Orville! Mag-join ka ng TR, mamaya pag-usapan natin. Okay, sige. You want to conclude, Boss Luis?
Yeah. So, kagaya ng mga napakinggan natin, sobrang full of wisdom, Kompleto. From technical, it's kung ano yung napakinggan natin, it's very holistic talaga. And like what our guests have shared, it is important for us to assess parang how we will strategize kung paano tayo mag-enter sa market and kung paano hindi ganun kadali ma-FOMO, 'di ba? Sabi nga, don't be afraid to ask for help. And also we don't have to be alone. Ayan, sobrang eto kami 'yon. Kami yung dating alone lang.
Yeah.
Sobrang gustong matutunan lahat.
Yep.
Pero with the right people around, with the right leaders, trading leaders, with the right mentors,
Yep.
sobrang matutulungan ka in your trading journey. And ano masasabi mo doon, Heidi?
Join TR. Yun ang masasabi ko. One of the best communities out there, hands down. And like what everyone is saying, having access to the right support system can help us. Diba? Kasi we all deal with different kinds of things, different kinds of experiences, whether it's good or bad. Lahat yan pinagdadaanan natin. But we cannot underestimate the power and the impact of having someone around us to help us through this trading journey of ours, which is something that we've been talking about for the last 1.5 hours. So guys, if you don't have any trading community yet, it is really, really recommended, highly recommended. Join us in TR.
Yes.
Yun eh. Yun talaga. So, kasi inside TR, guys, maraming Boss Z's and maraming Boss Jameses inside. Hindi lang silang dalawa. Super dami. So, imagine your growth once you're inside, okay? So, all right. I think that's it. Do we have any other announcements that we want to mention, Boss Z?
Right. So some of the people were like mentioning about the NFTs, and so if you're into NFTs, I'm starting a project. It's not a project na magano like I'm starting a course for NFTs because ako mismo I'm investing a lot of money. It's in the 8 figures already. Tapos gusto kong may mga kasama ako. So parang like this season kasi to me it's a planting season eh. Since November, I've been telling some of my communities, some of my friends, guys, you gotta start dollar cost averaging in crypto and into certain NFTs because these are the things that are going to be the next or ito yung future money. And so, you have to learn these things. Hindi kayo pwedeng mag-rely lang sa akin. Learn it because at the time when yung adoption curve, di ba? Yeah. You don't want to be the person na parang bumili ng Axie team at 100K plus. Parang ganun. You want to make sure that you invest habang nagsisimula pa lang and habang bear market tayo. Kung maga planting season, dun ka magtanim. Hindi ka magtanim pag full blown patapos na yung season. Kasi mauubos talaga yung capital mo. And so I'm like, this was something na parang nakikita niya ako sa social media, sobrang vocal ko about it. Hindi ako sobrang vocal nung pababa tayo. Kasi I was making sure na parang, guys, baka mamaya may bumili tas bear market. Hindi. Like, ngayon na ako lumalabas na parang, guys, mag-aral na kayo because this is going to be the next gen money. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there, but this is a different animal. This is new. And Yeah, I've seen so much opportunity here. Marami ng mga naging full-time as well dito. So if you're interested in that, just ano ba? May link tayo dyan. Can you put it into the comments na lang? So you can see I'm sending you yung mismong Gitbook link. So makita mo kung ano yung isa-sign up mo. Again, if it's something na hindi siya, like if you want to be a trader, go for a trading course. Don't go into this course. This is strictly for NFTs. So if you feel like NFTs is the way to go for me, you kind of like meron kang affinity for that, then go for it. Like just make sure that you can commit. Recorded naman to lahat. So yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you. How about Boss James? You have something happening tomorrow as well.
Yeah, so yun, in line with Boss Zeno, if you're interested into NFT, then that's the way. Then if you're interested into trading, you want to start slow and steady, you might want to join us tomorrow for the Crypto FGD, where we discuss what's happening in the market, what's the macro view, individual coin picks, and all these things. Probably some stuff on risk management and psychology. We're going to be dealing with all those things tomorrow. If you want to join 7:30, just make sure to follow the Facebook of CFT and YouTube. We're going to be live on those platforms.
Yes. Thank you, Boss James. And also sa ating mga from TR members natin na nanonood, just stay tuned sa ating announcements kasi this coming February magkakaroon tayo ng very exciting activity. Excited ka na ba doon, Boss Hyde?
We have a few things lined up, no? On TR
Yes.
Entertainment, we have a few things lined up for the next month, sa February, like you said, sa Valentine's Day, and also for the next few months then. So watch out for announcements lang. Okay. Thank you again, everyone. It's been a wonderful session. Appreciate your time. Wala, speechless ako eh.
Yes,
It's
oo,
like I
sobrang-
said, sige, Boss Luis, go for it.
Oo, so alam mo yung ang dami mo nang nasulat tapos napapa-reflect ka at the same time. Tapos
Oo.
yes, parang ako to, parang gano'n.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Again, thank you for the time, and hopefully you'll be able to join us again in the next TR Radio Talks. Have a good night. Goodbye.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Wimba wappa 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 system ko wimba wappa 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 system ko kung ang trades mo'y palaging talo, mag-CFT ka na. Kung ang losses mo ay tumodo, mag-CFT ka na. Ang system ko ikaw ay palaging FOMO, mag-CFT ka na. Kung ang port mo'y di nagbabago, mag-CFT ka na. Ang system ko